Okay, we're back. Whenever we left off, I had just made the last, according to Melvin Thomas's instruction, I had just made the last run from bottom pin 3, where we went over, under, under, and stopped. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to start working with this strand now. This has, for this time, has been called the standing in. Standing in is, of course, the piece of the strand that you're not actually working with, that's not actually moving. This is your working in, this is your standing in, this is the piece we're working with. What's going to end up happening now is that we're going to change this into the standing in. This will be your working in. So, since we know that this is going to be our working in now, I'm going to go ahead and put my paracord needle on there. Okay, so, and I'm actually going to go ahead and take this rubber band off. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so what Melvin wants you to do is he wants you to come down from top pin 1. You're going to make your bite for this pin right here. You're going to make your bite, and you're going to go over, under, and meet in the middle. So basically, we're going to go like this. We're going to go over, under this one, over this one, under this one, and stop. He didn't write an exclamation with an exclamation point, so I don't have to exclaim it. Anyway, we're going to go over, under, over, and under. I'm really holding this wrong, but I'm just not used to tying with a big old camera in front of me. We've gone over, under, over, under, over, under. And that's really the knot right there. I mean, this is your finished Turk's head. This is a finished, well, not finished, but tied 3 by 8 lead Turk's head. It's sometimes useful to end your Turk's heads in the middle of a knot right here, what you'd end up doing after you've already tightened it up and attached it and made all your passes and all that stuff. You could run the rest of your line back under a couple and snip it and singe it, or whatever. For our purposes, we're going to actually be running this back through the bottom of the Turk's head here. So, but anyway, if you look at the comparison photo for Melvin Thomas's deal, we've got it right here, no problem. What Melvin has you do from there is remove your pins, remove the knot from the mandrel here. I guess I didn't drill that hole tight enough. There we go. And these mandrels are pretty easy to build. I mean, you can build them out of whatever you can find them. I've got this. I don't really like the foam stuff. It's nice because you can, put pins in them over and over and over again. I prefer the wood stuff just because, or wood or PVC, because it's just more solid. It makes me feel a little bit more confident when I'm tying a knot. But anyway, here we go. So we're going to take this off the mandrel. And normally I would just break and come back after I've already got it tightened up. But removing a Turk's head, you have to be somewhat careful. It's not going to fall apart, but you do have to be a little bit careful when you pull it out. All I'm doing is I'm just rotating the mandrel out. However it gets out without falling apart is fine. And what I'm going to do is put this on a smaller mandrel. This is just a little, I think this is like a 1/4 inch dowel or something like that. And the reason I'm showing this is because it's going to be a little bit tedious. You'll probably want to fast forward through this, but it's important to know, how to tighten up a Turk's head. You just have to do it in real small increments. Most of the time I'll just stretch it out a little bit like this, Kind of looks like a bag of smashed buttholes right here, but all you got to do is just pull a little bit out. You could see where this one started moving. Well, you just follow that line all the way back through, pull a little bit of slack out. I think that was it. Pull a little bit of slack out, follow that back down through to right there. And it'll look kind of crappy, you know, whenever you start pulling all this line through, all the line starts getting a little bit messed up. If you have tied the knot correctly, it'll stay where it needs to stay. All it is just unders, overs, unders, overs. Just pull little bits of line all the way through, pull out your slack, and have a little confidence. Watch what you're doing, but have some confidence that your line is actually going to come out. Your knot's going to come out the way it needs to. Actually, I think Melvin here had, yeah, he just had you replace the mandrel. I'm going to go ahead and keep tightening this. So if you want to fast forward through this, go ahead. I've got 3.5 minutes left of video here, and that's what I'm going to do. If I run out of video, I'm just going to continue to tighten this, and I will come back after it's already tight. After this is when we're going to run run everything back through the bottom. I can't believe it's already been almost 10 minutes. And then we pull this out back through there. Biggity blam. Kind of looks funky, but you still see the basic, kind of see the basic structure of the Turk's head here. And we're just going to keep running it back through. It doesn't matter from which end that you tie, but you want it, or that you tighten, but you want to work from one end or the other, work it all the way through to the other end. I'm going to start from this end. Pull that there, down, and it's going to collapse quite a bit. I mean, you might be surprised. That's the weird thing about Turk's heads, is that it takes quite a bit of cord to actually go through and you know, tie the knot, especially if you've got a mandrel that's, you know, just too large of a diameter. Where's this from? There it is. If your mandrel's too large, if you have your pin set too far apart, you'll end up using a significant amount of cord to tie the Turk's head. And then you get it all tightened up, you're like, what? I only use 6 feet of cord in this? Really? Keep going here. Still got about 2 minutes left. I'm just going to use up that 2 minutes worth of time. Probably bore the heck out of all of you. Oh, wrong one. There we go. There it is. If your cord gets twisted, just work out the twists. Something you'll notice, and I'm sure that as paracord crafters, you guys have probably noticed this anyway. Your cord will start twisting on you. That's the natural lay of the cord sometimes. Just what happens. All you gotta do is just twist it the opposite way, especially when you start getting into, you know, really long Turk's heads with a lot of leads in them. It can be kind of torture to get all those out, but as long as you're patient and work through it, you can get it. I got like 1 round of tightening left to do on this. You don't want to tighten it all the way down, but you don't want to have it too loose, because remember, we have to fit those cords to the other side down there. I've got about a minute left here. See, just little bits at a time. That's not even an inch worth of cord at the front, but whenever you take all that slack out, you know, you'll come out with 3 or 4 inches of slack total that you're pulling out. And I've got about 30 seconds left on here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm concentrating on this. I don't want to look at the time. But anyway, yeah, just whenever I come back, this will be faired up and finished and ready to run to the other side. So be back in just a second.